Hey everybody, it's Coach Rob. Welcome back to another Coach's Log. I'm out and about today in central Kentucky having a very nice, easy ride. And some questions have been popping up recently on my radar. Some of them have come from social media, some from athletes. I always find it interesting how sometimes these things come in threes. It's come from three totally different parties, and the subject is around hot spots. Whether you're a cyclist or a runner, eventually you're going to find or deal with what we call or refer to as hot spots. And what are hot spots? Well, you're going to notice from time to time the potential for a burning sensation in your feet. I'm not talking about things like athlete's feet. I'm talking about just, you've been out training for a while, running, riding, what have you, and all of a sudden you get this burn in maybe the top of your foot, between your toes, under your foot, in the ball of the foot, in the fascia between the heel and the ball of your foot. It could come from anywhere, and it just seems to strike randomly. You may have had the same pair of cycling or running shoes or model for quite some time, same socks, same everything, and then all of a sudden it gets you. And the first thought is, well, it's hot, so that's friction. Well, actually very rarely is it friction. Quite often it is nerves that are causing this. And what would inflame a nerve? Pressure. So one of the things that you may be dealing with and not familiar with is that the fact that your feet have been swelling while you've been training. I'm dealing with it right now. One of the other things that I will say is that when this does occur, probably the best approach is not to push through it. Stop. Go ahead and deal with it. If you're a cyclist, you have an opportunity to loosen a strap, maybe dial back the tension on a BOA, or if you have lace-up cycling shoes, you might be able to loosen the laces a little bit, and think about why your feet were swelling. Is this a longer ride than normal? Did you just suddenly increase your mileage? Is it an exceptionally hot day out? Have you not been keeping up with electrolyte replacement or even trace mineral replacement, which we're going to cover on a different show later? One of the things that you can think about too is, as you're planning ahead, remember, try not to increase your mileage more than 20% month over month. So let's give you an example. If you've not ridden more than 40 miles in a single ride for an entire month, the following week, do you think it's probably a smart idea to go off and just ride 100 miles? That's a recipe for problems. You're going to feel that. So if you can work your way up to that desired mileage over time, some of these things are less likely to occur. The other thing too that I would, and I have recognized, I should say, in my own riding dealing with hot spots is when friction is involved, quite often it has to do with shoes that are a bit older. They've gotten loose. Maybe I wasn't being as good about keeping up with my straps, my boas, my laces, what have you. Or I've got an ill-fitting pair of socks. Right now I'm fighting with that. I'm getting ready to address it, but as soon as I get done with this video, it's starting to cause a hot spot on the top of one of my toes. And that is just, it's a recipe for annoyance, and the comfort goes out. You don't want to ride it or train as hard. The other thing that we deal with in friction, maybe less so with cycling as we do with running, is when your feet get wet and they sweat, they're going to slide around a lot more. So if you're not using something on your feet, especially as a runner, to combat that, if you're prone to blisters, it's just going to make things worse. So my go-to products to date have been things like Body Glide. If it's going to be super wet out, I have been known to use bag balm, especially between my toes. I know it sounds kind of gross, but it has saved me from just massive blisters and pain when running on much longer runs and in competition. The other thing too that I've been known to do on shorter runs, especially really intense running sessions, is to tape my toes. I know the toes that are normally going to be affected. In my case, it's my big toe and the ball of my foot. And sometimes I'll get it back all the way to my pinky toe for some odd reason. I guess it's just the way my feet lay in the shoe. And so what I'll do is I actually will wrap my big toe in physio tape or KT tape, and I'll have a link to that as well. And then what I'll do is I'll run a strip from the ball of my foot all the way across to the backside of my pinky toe, wide strip. So what I've done is I've given my skin an added layer of protection. And it works, and it has worked wonders. I wish I had known about doing this years ago. It has been fantastic. I don't know why I never picked up on it. Gymnasts have been doing it for a very long time. Just watch them. We used to do it with our hands and rock climbing, and I never put two and two together about using it for my feet. I have not had to do it, but maybe once or twice with cycling, when I know I'm putting myself in that scenario where I'm well above the 20%. And then I know I'm going to be out maybe climbing, maybe I'm in the mountains, and I know that it's just going to be a brutal day. I'm probably going to spend a lot more time paying attention to the comfort of my feet, because once they go, you're in trouble. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your training week, and we'll talk again very soon.